Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 7, consists of me, Siti Latifah, Cinthya Kesuma Adistana, Cynthia Lady Indriani, Dyah Kurnia Saputri, and Nur Hafizhah. And today we will talk about time and space patterns. The first material will be presented by Cinthya Kesuma.
Alright, so I will explain about time. Time is seen in a particularly different light by Eastern and Western cultures, and even within this grouping assumes quite dissimilar aspects from country to country. So talking about time, Indonesian people have different perception with people from other cultures. It seems like there is a habit to extend the time limit, the culture of rubber time. The time format is used in Indonesia different from America. Likes attitudes to time may differ between different, often quite significant ways. For example, being late for an appointment or taking a long time to get down to business is the accepted norm in most Mediterranean and Arab countries, as well as in much of less developed Asia. Such habit thought would be anathema in punctually conscious USA, Japan, England, Switzerland, etc. In the Japanese train system, for example, on time refers to expected delays of less than 1 minute, while in many other countries, up to 15 minutes leeway is still considered on time. When travelers lack an awareness of how time is regulated in a foreign country, they can expect to feel somewhat disoriented. Since most people take time for granted, the effect of values, customs, and social ethics on the use of time are seldom examined. A culture that values fast achievement and progress will discourage people from wasting time. Highly efficient business people from these cultures may feel frustrated in a country where work proceeds at a slow pace. In religious societies, customs specify times of the day, week, or year for prayer and religious celebration. If an individual tries to make an appointment during a sacred holiday, he or she could unknowingly offend a religious person. Social ethics determines appropriate time for visits, meetings, and even phone calls. Arriving 2 hours late for an appointment may be acceptable in one culture, whereas in another, keeping someone waiting 15 minutes may be considered rude.
My name is Nur Hafizhah. Here I want to continue about the explanation about time and space. Here I want to explain about promptness. Promptness is a habit of adhering to a designated time. It is important in American business, academic, and social settings. Punctuality is the state of being punctual. People who hold appointments are assumed to be trustworthy. If persons are late to job interviews, meetings, or lessons, they are often seen as incompetent and irresponsible. Time is money. In the business world, and companies will find their executives to business 5 meetings for tardiness. Of course, being punctual isn't always possible. How late is late? This varies greatly. In Britain and America, one may be 5 minutes late for a business appointment, but not 15 and certainly not 30 minutes late, which is perfectly normal in Arab countries. On the other hand, in Britain it is correct to be 5 to 15 minutes late for an invitation to dinner. An Italian might arrive 2 hours late, an Ethiopian after, and Japanese not at all. He had accepted only to prevent his host from losing face. Reaction to punctuality is rooted in our cultural experiences. In the United States, the boss can arrive late for a meeting without anyone raising an eyebrow. If the secretary is late, he or she might receive a reprimand in the form of a stem glance. A rock star or a physician can keep people waiting for a long time, but the warm-up band and the food caterer had better be on time. In Latin America, one is expected to arrive late to appointments as a sign of respect. In fact, in Chile it is considered rude to be on time to social events. This same notion of time is seen in Spain, where there is the belief that punctuality messes up schedules. In Africa, people often show up late for appointments, meetings, and social engagement. There is a Nigerian expression that says, "A watch didn't invent man." These two views of tardiness would be perceived as rudeness in Germany, where promptness is taken for granted in Germany. In fact, it's almost an obsession. In academic and professional circles too, respect for deadlines is important. Time limits for class assignment or business reports are expected to be met. Students with late assignments may be surprised to find that the professor is going to lower their grades or even fail to rate this work. Whether it's a matter of arriving on time or reaching a time limit, people are culturally conditioned to control the time. And then the next is division of time. Time is tangible. One can gain time, spend time, waste time, save time, or even kill time. Common question in American English reveal this concrete quality as to time where a possession. The treatment of time as a possession influences the way time is carefully divided. Generally, Americans are taught to do one thing at a time and may be uncomfortable when an activity is interrupted. In businesses, the careful scheduling of time and the separation of activities are common practices. To accommodate other people's schedules, Americans make business plans and social engagements several days or weeks in advance.
My name is Dyah Kurnia Saputri. Now I'm going to explain about future time. In the future time, there are 7 points you have to know. First is culture in general will refer to the past, present, or future direction regarding time. The general public are just individuals to look to the future, not to the past. Innovative social and skillful patterns change quickly and affect the way of life of individuals and their connection. Second is past. Culture with this orientation attach importance to the past and use what went before as a gauge for their current perception of people and events. Based on Richmond, McCracken, and Pay, culture that have a past-oriented philosophy tend to apply past events to similar new situations. These societies have respect for the elderly and listen to what their senior citizens have to say regarding the past. Third is present. In this orientation, the past is not nearly as important as the present. Present-oriented people see the future as ambiguous, capricious, and in a sense, beyond the control of the individuals. And the fourth is future. In future-oriented cultures, what is yet to come is more fluid. Taking change, and stress on youth and optimism are all hallmarks of culture that hold this orientation. Fifth, in general society, where change is so fast, it is not uncommon for every age to face the generation gap. Sometimes, parents will fight to understand their children's estimates. Indeed, even religious organizations must adapt to the contemporary needs of their supporters. Sixth, high level of progress, especially in urban areas, have participated in focusing on the future, not the past or the present. And the last is, as people in a culture, we as a whole have an instinctive understanding of how time is managed. Usually, people don't consider the idea of time until they socialize with other people with different time orientation. Being aware of how time is controlled, separated, and seen can provide significant experiences for people and their communities.
My name is Cynthia Lady Indriani. Now I'm going to explain about space or architectural differences. When we travel abroad, we are immediately impressed by the many ways of buildings, homes, and cities are designed. The division and organization of space lend character and uniqueness to villages, towns, and cities. Yet, architectural differences may also cause confusion or discomfort for the travelers. The separation of space inside home may also vary from one culture to another cultures. In most American homes, the layout of rooms reveals the separateness of labeling of space according to function: bedroom, living room, dining room, playroom, and so on. This system is in sharp contrast to other cultures, where one room in a house may serve several functions. In Japan homes with sliding walls can change a large room into two small rooms, so that living room can also serve a bedroom. When a home or city's design is influenced by another culture, the native architecture can be lost or disguised. For example, a French architect was asked to design Punjab, the capital city in Chandigarh, India. He decided to plan the city with centralized shopping centers which required public transportation and movement away from the village centers. Eventually, the Indians stopped meeting each other socially in their small neighborhoods. Apparently, the introduction of non-Indian style of architecture affected some of the cultural and social pattern of those living in the city. Okay, I think that's all for my explanation. It's going to be explained by my friend. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Siti Latifah, and I will explain about privacy and the use of space. Architectural design influences how privacy is achieved, as well as how social contact is made in public places. Americans achieve their privacy by physically separating themselves from others. The term "good fences make good neighbors" indicates a preference for privacy from neighbors' homes. If a family can afford it, each child has his or her own bedroom. When privacy is needed, Americans will go to their room and shut the door. The English, on the other hand, lacking room of their own since childhood, they never developed the practice of using space as a refuge from others. And then Americans learned the rule about knock before you enter, which teaches them to respect others' privacy. When a bedroom door is closed, it may be a sign to others saying, "I need privacy," "I'm angry," or "Do not disturb," or "I'm busy." For Americans, the physical division of space and the use of architectural features permit a sense of privacy. And next is personal space. In the forms of communication, space is associated with culture and associated more specifically with cultural values. In the dominant culture of the United States, privacy is highly valued. This view often is translated into Americans wanting more space than is normally taken by people in Mexico. For example, cultures that stress individualism, England, the United States, Germany, and Australia, generally demand more space than do collective cultures. The members tend to take an active, aggressive stance when their space is violated. The Swiss will even back away when their counterparts move too close. According to Anderson, in collective cultures, where people are more interdependent, the members work, play, live, and sleep in close proximity to one another. According to Triandis, Arabs, Latin Americans, and U.S. Hispanics would fall into this category. As we pointed earlier, in Mexico, the physical distance between people when engaged in conversation is closer than what is usual north of the border. With regard to Arabs, Rich writes, typical Arab conversations are at close range. Closeness cannot be avoided. This closeness is even reflected when people stand in line. As Morrison, Conway, and Dures point out, when waiting, Egyptians do not stand in neat lines. Everyone pushes their way toward the front. And a person's use of space is directly linked to the value system of his or her culture. In some Asian cultures, for example, students do not sit close to their teachers or stand near their bosses. The extended distance demonstrates difference and esteem. Extra-interpersonal distance is also part of the culture experience of the people of Scotland and Sweden, for whom it reflects privacy. In Germany, as Hall noted, personal space is sacred. For the Germans, this distancing is a protective barrier and psychological symbol that operates in a manner similar to the home. You find the opposite view towards space in the Brazilian culture, where closeness and human warmth is apparent, and hence conversation takes place with less room between participants. Okay, so that's all from Group 7. I hope this video can be beneficial for you. Thank you for watching this video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.